How you making, folks, and welcome back. Today I'm going to walk you guys through how to throw a bait caster. Maybe cast would have been a better word. Today I'm going to show you guys how to cast a bait caster from start to finish. If you've never had one before and you want to give it a try, this video is for you. I just bought a new bait caster from Academy yesterday, so I'm going to bust it out the box and I'm going to show you all start to finish how to put the line on there, how to cast it, how to bird nest it, because that's going to happen. Yeah, we're not going to talk too much. We'll get right on down into it. Alright, so we're going to try and keep this simple. I'm not going to get too much technical jargon with the brakes and all of that stuff, but I will show you what you need to know to get started with a bait caster. So your first step obviously is to just take it out the box for obvious reasons, because it won't do you any good in the box. Also won't do you any good unless you have a rod to put it on. So once you got your casting rod, if you're not familiar with how this thing goes, you unscrew this all the way up to the top. You line those things up right here. You can see that, hopefully. And then you just slide it right in there. You slide it right there, like that, like so. And this will screw right down. And whammo! Make sure it's good and tight, so your reel doesn't pop off, fly off, and you lose it on your first cast. Next step, put the fishing line on there. Today we're using Power Pro 30-pound test, the red braid. This isn't the line I usually use, but since I went to buy a fishing line in the middle of a pandemic, apparently everybody and their brother was buying the stuff I wanted, and the shelves are pretty much wiped out at Academy, and well, you don't want to hear about all that. First world problems. I usually like to use the green 20-pound braid on all my bait casters. I either use Power Pro or the H2O brand from Academy. It works pretty good too, and it's a little bit cheaper, so don't mind the yellow tape back there. We're filming this in front of a crime scene. I'm just kidding. Alright, so before we get started putting the line in, I'm going to walk you through just a few parts of the reel. And yeah, just so you can get familiar with it. So obviously, you know what that part is, just like any other fishing reel. This is how you reel that joker in. And then you have your button right here, just like if you remember your Snoopy pull from back in the G when you was a youngin'. You know, you press this down and shroom, sling it out. And that's what makes the line go out. Releases that brake. And then you got this thing right here. This is pretty much one of the brakes like that. This is, I'll show you once we put line on there. This is what gives it the tension of how fast or slow that line comes out with the weight of the bait and your brake. So this, you know, you have the negative and the plus, obviously. Plus is more, less is negative. Negative is less. More plus, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But we'll get into all of that once we put the line on there, and I'll show you how to cast it and so on and so forth. All right, now to put the line in, I like to usually thread it all the way through my rod, through all the eyes, all the way down to the reel. And once you get it all the way down to the reel, like so, you're gonna thread it through that little hole right there into the reel. And then you're gonna wanna tie it around that little spool right there. So we're gonna make a little kink in the line like this, a little hook, and we're gonna come in right there, and then easy does it. And then we're just gonna grab this part right here. There we go. And we're just gonna tie a knot right there around that. All right, now that we got it through the spindle right there, all right, we're just gonna tie a simple overhand knot, or granny knot, as we might call it, like so. There we go. And then we're just gonna pull this tight. Now it's not like a permanent knot, it's gonna slip like so. If you pull it tight enough, it slips. I like to slip it all the way down just so I don't have to cut it to where it gets close, just like that. It'll hold it tight enough to where we can start doing this number here and start getting that that line wrapped around there. So let me tighten up the drag. Oh hey guys, almost forgot to tell you, this little contraption right here, that's your drag. If it's too loose like this, you just tighten it up, you go forward with it clockwise, tightens it up, tightens it up. You can set that drag right where you want it. So there you go, you just start cranking that away. And I like to keep a little bit of tension right there on the edge because you want it good and tight, snug on that reel. And as you can see, I keep the box on there just to keep a little bit of weight on there, just so we can keep some more tension on there so it's all nice and tight and smooth and beautiful. Oop, there we go. think that is enough. So now we just want to put something on the end of it. I'm going to hook a lure because I'm about to go fishing. But if you're at your house and you're not near any water or anything, all you got to do is just tie a weight or something on the end of it just so you can get the feel for it. And I'll show you how to set it up. But first, let me get my lure on this thing. Alright, so the first step you want to do is you want to tighten this thing all the way up right here. Oh, there we go. This little guy right here, you want to tighten this all the way up, or actually pretty snug. Because what this thing does is it keeps tension on this whenever you hit this button to release the brake. It keeps tension, so as you see, it's not falling. So you want to tighten that all the way up. And you just want to slowly loosen it up until your worm starts dropping. Boom. And when it hits the ground and this doesn't move, you pretty much got it. Because if you have it too loose, this is what's going to happen. Loosen it up like that. You click the button, it's going to fall, and this thing's just going to keep spooling out. And that is not what you want to do. Because that will give you quite some trouble. And then you'll throw this reel in the water and never want to use one again. Nope. I'm done. But that's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to learn how to appropriately use one of these. So again, all you're going to do is tighten this up to where that worm doesn't move. Your bait, weight, whatever you're using, where it doesn't move, you hit your button. See, it's not going down. We're just going to crank it real slow, one at a time, till this thing starts free falling. But when it hits, that doesn't keep going. So we're going to try it again, maybe a little bit looser. Oops, too much. So tighten it back up, hit it, crack, 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 boom, perfect. It stops. That's exactly what you want it. And now for the brake. What you want to do when you first start is go ahead and crank that sucker all the way up. So what this brake does is it slows it down. Once you cast it, as it's going out, it's going to slow it down. That way that backlash doesn't happen, or it's not supposed to happen. And you don't, again, you don't curse your reel out and throw it in the water. So when you start out, you just want to tighten this thing all the way up and just give it a little toss like so. Ooh, that's smooth. And look at that, that's perfect. You want to keep it all the way tight. Don't worry about casting it too far. Don't try and sling it. I mean, you can throw these things pretty good, but you don't want to sling it starting out. You just want to give it a couple dangles like that. And see, it stopped, no backlash, didn't have to use my thumb. That is perfect. And as you get used to it, you can start loosening that brake, start getting a feel for it. Once you get all the settings down and it looks like that, you don't need to use your thumb to stop it, like so, and it'll stop on its own. But when you're starting out, and well, I always have my thumb on it because you just never know. Because if you go to cast it, you slinging it, and you come back and it grabs onto something and you cock it back like this and that lure stays back, this thing just comes up like this with a big old bird's nest like the size of an eagle or a pterodactyl, and your day's just ruined. So I would suggest always leaving your thumb on there just in case so you can stop it. So what I like to do with the thumb action is when you go to cast it, as soon as it's about to hit the ground, boop, I put my thumb on it to break it. And there you go. And then as you start getting used to it, you want to go further, just give it a couple little cranks, not too much, to release that brake. Whoo, nice and smooth. Man, I like this reel. This reel feels real nice, real nice. So if you want me to do a review on this thing after a while, leave a yes in the comments and I'll start reviewing a couple of these. Well folks, if you found any value in this video, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't. If you care to see any more, you can click on one of these videos right here. Y'all have a good day. Stay humble, stay hungry. Get out there and try something new. Nope. I'm done.